Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho. Saturday, June 13th. I am your host. Welcome to Nice and Blunt. We're going to be drafting some best ball teams today. Don't think we're going to do a third draft. I think maximum two, because tomorrow we'll be live for 10 hours and I don't want to oversaturate myself in the market. So don't want you to get tired of my face tomorrow. I'm sure that'll happen. So we're going to be drafting some best ball teams today. Let us begin. All right, feeling good. And I forgot one aspect of the live stream. I got to get the chat set up for the overlay. I think we're all set there. Yo, GM to Hallie Line. We're gonna get some money today. You know it. How we doing? Meg from Fanspeak Network. She'll be joining the live tomorrow. She is in the 6 o'clock hour from 5 to 6. Gonna be a good time. 5 p.m. Pacific is the time slot with Meg. Can't wait. Very much looking forward to it. Gonna be a very, very fun time with Meg and all of our guests. It'll be a fun slate. What's up? Your soothing sound. I love an afternoon streamer. Blinker time. Let's go. Tiana's just waking up. It's a little late for a wake and bake, but I guess it is Saturday. Maybe you were up late last night. Yeah, looking forward to it a lot, Meg. Gonna be a lot of fun. And Meg, Steve, a bunch of other folks will be a very lit afternoon. And I'll remind y'all on the slate again later in the stream. But if you haven't done so, check out Fanspeak Network on their YouTube channel. They recently went over 1,000 subscribers. Definitely worth your time. Give them a subscription if you haven't done so already. So let's fucking go, John Tara. I'm ready. Sladen, Weekend Warriors Unite. You know it. Question is, what are we going to enter today? The field general is getting close to filling, 97%. So I think we will be drafting one of those. But I think to start off, I think we'll enter a puppy. I think that feels appropriate. Everyone knows how to draft in puppies. The strategy isn't as different. I think that's the move. So I'll give y'all a countdown. We got 23 viewers. If you want to join, be my guest. But if you just want to spectate, all is good with that too. We are drafting the puppy in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 3 spots left. If you want to try and take down this puppy against me, come on in. But this time tomorrow we'll be live for 10 hours. Boy, should be fun. Very interesting time set up for tomorrow. We got the size correct. Yep, that's all chilling. That's all good. All right, who we got in here? We got John Tara at the 101. Tanner Rube. My guy Taking Dollars. We got Tiana Waking and Bacon at the 103. Not sure about Little Sweetness or Viceroy Gunray, but M. Stockton definitely watching right now. I know M. Stockton is in this lobby with us. And then otherwise, I'm not sure I recognize too many other names. So if you are in here, Soothing Sound has pick 11. Okay, sweet. Good to know. Win 2022. I'll keep an eye out for that in the future. Thank you for joining us today, and good luck to everyone. May the best 2 competitors win. You can still advance if you finish second. So that's what y'all are vying for. You know I'm vying for first. And of course I get pick 8. Once again, I get pick 8. It's going to be interesting to see how many pick 8s I get tomorrow on the 10-hour stream, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I'm sure I'll get at least one, but with my luck, I'll probably have like at least 4 teams out of the 8 slot tomorrow. What's up, Jamie? How we doing? Jamie's also joining us tomorrow on the 10-hour live stream. He will be joining us at the 6 p.m. time slot. So got that briefly mixed up with Meg. She's at 5. Jamie's at 6. Jamie will be on right after Meg at 6 p.m. At the petting zoo right now with the kids. So just dropping in to say, hey, appreciate you hopping in, Jamie. And with our first click, So many different directions to go. Some could be bad, some could be fine, but no player is not talented. I will go with CeeDee Lamb today. We have Dak Prescott on the thumbnail, gives me an excuse to maybe set that stack up. And I don't take CeeDee Lamb too often. So increasing the exposure, don't think I want to be underweight CeeDee Lamb. I'm definitely not fading him. I just prefer some other names, and oftentimes he's just not on the board when I'm picking. So I think I'm like 6% CeeDee Lamb right now. I'm willing to bump that up. Let's make it 7 with this pick. What's up, Slade? More respectable than being at the petting zoo by yourself. Yeah, for sure. Mr. Mufasa, GM, how you doing? Mr. Mufasa in the house. All right, so I take Lamb. We're setting up the anchor wideout. We can ignore that position for a bit. But in round 2, pick 17, we're going to have a very, very comfortable RB1. Maybe we go anchor running back as opposed to anchor receiver. We're going to let the board decide our fate over the course of the draft. Not going to get locked into any particular direction. But I'm loving your soothing sounds start at pick 11. He goes Genty and Hampton. That is one of my favorite starts that you can set up. So love it for you. Good job. It's only 2 rounds down. You can still fuck it up. Anyone can fuck it up at this point. But rounds 1 and round 2, definitely a passing grade. All the ones I like are off the board. So is this the day I go Devon Achane? I mean, sure. Why not? I have very little Devon Achane. I have a lot more Derrick Henry. I trust Derrick Henry. However, one of the reasons I really like Derrick Henry is because he can win you the week at the position. He can just dominate, be like the overwhelming best player. And it's not that Devon Achane can't do that. I just don't think it'll happen as often with Devon Achane. Achane can definitely, though, be the best athlete on the field. So a start I can't be too upset with. CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane at pick 17 when all my other guys have already come off the board feels pretty sweet. But Viceroy Gunray goes with Puka and Derrick Henry at the 105. That's a nice little gift. Honestly, that is like as best as you can get with a Puka start. On occasion, you do get Derrick Henry to fall back to you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm going to bring in the music. Don't think we've done that yet. So, yeah, let's hit that soundtrack. Let's get it popping. And it's not too loud. Just nice little background music. But anything odd happened so far in this lobby? We did see JSN over Puka. I'm not going to do that, but go ahead. Otherwise, it's really cut and dry. The only thing that maybe is different is Amon-Ra at pick 6, but I'm fine with that. Coming back on the clock, though, this might be a Travis Achane team. I think I'm taking one of these Saints. I think that's the move. I'll go Chris Olave. We'll go double white jersey. Cowboys and the Saints. There is some interesting news with Olave. Last I saw, there was like something going on with like, okay, a blood clot. That's not good. All right, this was reported 2 days ago via RotoWire. Olave has been limited to individual drills at OTAs after undergoing treatment for a blood clot in January. Okay, Olave hasn't been able to do the team activities, obviously, throughout OTAs, said head coach Kellen Moore. The blood clot was related to not participating in team and some of those things. Olave said it only took a week for him to get normal, but that was back in January. Unfortunately, it's still affecting him. So that's not ideal. Definitely not the best case scenario, but it's also not something I'm going to completely panic about. It's not good. It's not the best news you could imagine, though. I still think he's probably worth a third-round pick if he's fully healthy, though. Wow. Josh Allen made it to me at pick 41. Damn it. Fine. I don't have many Josh Allen teams, but I've kind of shifted to the mindset. If someone's going to give him to me in the 4th round, fuck it. Fuck it. Because at this point, Lamar Jackson can be taken at any time. Like, sometimes Lamar falls to pick 60. Sometimes he goes way too late. But if you're telling me the gap between a Josh Allen selection and a Lamar Jackson off the board is potentially less than 10 picks, like if he goes at pick 50, that's only 9 picks of a difference. That's much different than a 2+ round discount. And ain't no way Allen's going to make it back to me at 56. So I don't have many Josh Allen teams. I've been reluctant to get too invested. I took him with Goofy Chicken Fantasy at pick 35, and I didn't hate it, but it is still a lot of draft capital. So if we're going to get unique, if we're going to be available to draft Josh Allen at pick 41, that doesn't happen too often, and this feels a little bit more appropriate to spend the draft capital. So maybe I'll regret it, but once Lamar comes off the board, once we hit round 6, they all fly off the table. And Allen is, like, without a doubt, the clear quarterback 1, has the highest spike week potential of any player. I also think his fantasy schedule is pretty interesting. It's a little bit tough weeks 15 and 16. There's a Denver game in there. Weeks 15, the Bills are hosting Chicago, so that should be a shootout. That's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm not afraid of that, especially at home. Then in week 16, they're on the road at Denver, and they did lose to Denver in the playoffs. I'm sure Josh Allen will want some retribution. So I think he'll play pretty well. Looks like Lamar is still available. That's kind of annoying. But who cares? I don't really give a shit too much. I'm going to go DJ Moore, but I will say the Bucky Irving selection here is a little tempting. But I'm just going to get the stack. Bucket, give me the stack. Trusting the Joe Brady connection. DJ Moore, I think, is kind of all over the place in people's rankings. There's some people that have him really high. For instance, the Fanspeak Network, I know, is very, very in on DJ Moore. I know Fantasy Dog Pound is pretty in on DJ Moore. But then there's some people that are also kind of out on DJ Moore. Some people think he should fall into the 6th. I'm not one of those people. I think the 5th round is a very fair, appropriate selection. Arguably, he should be going in the 4th. And I think you could make the case that him versus Mike Evans is an interesting conversation, because while Evans maybe has a really high ceiling, could score like 13 touchdowns, wouldn't shock us, I don't think it's off the table that DJ Moore can hit double-digit touchdowns. That's not impossible. Meanwhile, Mike Evans is older. Mike Evans consistently misses at least 3 weeks, if not more, has very often suffered hamstring or soft tissue injuries. Meanwhile, you look at DJ Moore's track record. He has 5 straight seasons with 17 games played. The man does not come off the field, whether he's banged up or not. So this is a lobby that's just not really valuing the quarterback position, but Allen at 41 paired up with DJ Moore, pretty solid. And I also get the bring back week 17. I got the Dolphins hosting the Bills. The Bills are going to drop 50 probably on Miami in week 17. I legitimately believe that the Josh Allen piece might be the player you need in week 17 to take down the whole contest. But unfortunately, didn't get Jadarian Price a discount. This is kind of a bummer. Yikes. This looks fucking gross. I honestly hate this. Shit. I fucking hate this. So I'm going to go Ramondre just because structurally I'm not dying to take another quarterback here. I'd rather take Dak Prescott in the next round, get my stack, or just wait for Tyler Shuck to pair with Olave. I could also go Malik Willis if I really wanted to, stacked up with Devon Achane. So spending the capital on Allen, I think, is the big problem. You get into round 6 like this, and you don't get the discount on Jadarian Price. Brian Thomas Jr. no longer on the board. Even Jordan Tyson and Tyler Warren were off. and the best picks are clearly quarterbacks. It's not ideal if they're not stacked up. So that is the problem with taking Josh Allen when it makes so much more sense to be drafting quarterback. It's not as ideal. And this team kind of suffers for it a little bit. We lose out on the ADP value of Allen by reaching on Ramondre. So it is what it is. I don't draft a ton of Ramondre, but I'm willing to kind of just say that on this team, I'm making the bet that Ramondre remains the value instead of Travion. I don't legitimately believe that, but fuck it. Today, we ride with Ramondre. I'm very low on Ramondre. Yo, what up, Hartman? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Hartman is also joining us tomorrow on the 10-hour live stream. He is our guest at 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you haven't done so, check out Hartman FF. Awesome live streamer, very sharp takes, a good time over there, and excited to be drafting a banger with Hartman tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you, bro. What's good, Brett? How you doing? Hope you're having a good time on this Saturday afternoon. And boy, I'm not even gonna get Dak Prescott. Fucking bullshit. Don't think I made the right click in that last round, but Alec Pierce circles back. Don't hate that, but he's got an injury situation going on. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle. I want to get back in at running back. I'm just going to hit the position with someone I trust. I believe he's worth this price, and honestly, I have him ranked above Ramondre, so fuck it. In all honesty, I'm already not in love with this team. This team could be much better. But perhaps the Josh Allen DJ Moore combo is just truly what I need. Ain't no problem with that. Brett just got off work, contemplating doing a couple drafts the weekend. Not a bad time. Sure you can fit it into the schedule now. But I'm only doing a couple myself. We'll have one draft after this. I do not have time for the third. Also want to keep my voice a little rested because tomorrow it's going to be tested. 10 hours. Talking for 10 hours. Thankfully, I got a bunch of guests to help me out with that, but that is like the one thing I'm a little worried about. Paired with the smoking, I could see my voice get a little tired earlier than I expect it to. And if you're telling me I'm at like hour 6 and my voice is asking me to cool it, I might be screwed, but we'll be all right. It'll be fine. Damn. This is not that exciting. Fuck. I'll take Jordan Addison. Looks like I think you guys got an inside joke here. I'm not sure. About 100 times you washed your hands? You had us worried. Not sure what the context is there, but it's good to wash your hands. Definitely a wise choice. For sure. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. This is not how I like to build a team. It started off strong, but we did get Achane. It already felt a little off once I took Achane. And then I kind of just felt like I couldn't pass on it. But the Allen pick is kind of throwing a big wrench into this because I'm not going quarterback in round 6. I'm definitely not used to this. Do I wash my hands when I pee, even if I don't pee on them? Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure if I'm at let's say I'm at SoFi Stadium and the beer has run through me, I got to take a piss badly. I am not leaving the bathroom without washing my hands. Ain't no fucking chance. And that goes for like 99% of the time. You know, maybe there's a day when I'm just like super fucking busy and just randomly forget. But in general, that's like a lock. Yeah, I do that every time, bro. Okay, back on the clock. Damn it, running back fucking dried up. This lobby's tough. The fuck is going on here? I'll just take Kyler. Fuck it. Cash, I usually don't like my Josh Allen teams also. Yeah. Could be better. Could be a little more comfortable, but you never know. Maybe you can thread the needle. At least it was at pick 41, right? At least it wasn't pick 33 or sooner. At least it was a discount, but maybe 41 is still too high. Maybe it's still the wrong move. I think the problem is just because round 6 and 7 is so fucking tough if you don't have a quarterback. If you're not spending your pick on a quarterback, the other options are just so drastically less valuable. It's the opportunity cost of round 6, in my opinion. This Ramondre pick looks fucking dumb. Looks terrible. Like, legitimately, the only reason to believe in Ramondre is that you're fading Travion. And I don't want to do that. I'm very pro Travion. Travion's my boy. Since last year. Loved him coming out of the draft. I was hopeful the Chargers took him, honestly. But they got Hampton instead. Travion went to the Patriots. And I believe Travion will be far, far better in pass protection this year. He's going to be way more involved in the offense. But honestly, this pick 8, I think, is putting me in a tough spot. I think I'm just going to go with Harold Fannin. Don't have a tight end yet. Falling considerably. It's about time I get a good fucking price. So let's do that. Harold Fannin 113. I could still envision Kyle Pitts outscore him, but structurally I think it makes sense to tack on the tight end. Kittle and Kelsey went above Fannin and Laporta in this one. That's fucking weird. I mean, at least Laporta went over Kelsey, but damn. The Mahomes drafter calling their shot with also George Kittle. I'm not taking Kittle that high. Fuck that shit. Yes. All the time is the correct answer. He has an injury, but I get him here. Is Fannin dealing with an injury right now? Or are you talking about Kittle? Honestly, if Fannin is, I haven't... 4 days ago, not practicing as an undisclosed injury during OTAs. Dealt with a groin injury at the end of the year, but unclear if that's what it is. It's the beginning of June. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to write it off entirely, but he has been dropping like a rock lately. I have noticed he's consistently available with this pick. So maybe this team is already dead. If Fannin indeed is worse, then fuck it. I'm just increasing my exposures to some players on this team. But perhaps Josh Allen will just really crush and just carry me as far as I need. Maybe Ramondre is the right pick. Maybe Travion gets hurt. Who knows? But Ramondre is the most expensive backup. The most expensive number 2. Some people still believe he's the number 1, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think it's definitely going to change. And it's a lot of draft capital to spend on the RB2. I don't believe Ramondre is as talented as David Montgomery. And last year, I don't think we were even drafting David Montgomery this high. I think it's just the hate on Travion, I think, is what propels this pick. So I'm glad I took Rico Dowdle. There was a big run on running back in the 9th round. Gainwell went 102. Brooks went 100. And then all the running backs just went again. So I'm in a really tough spot. Like, consistently throughout this lobby, the running back position has been not in my favor. This is kind of annoying, but the fall on Romeo Doubs I think is worth it. I'd rather take Romeo than Khalil Shakir. Even stacked up, I think I'd rather do that. Because Shakir has no spike week ability whatsoever. So I don't really want to bet on the most mid-average play. I'm hopeful that either Shakir or Kincaid will circle back, and just scooping up this ADP discount on Romeo Dobbs is the right move. I have another Patriot, so let's go for it. And also, week 17, maybe Romeo Dobbs is going to be the piece in the Patriots passing game. They got Pat Surtain going to lock up A.J. Brown in that matchup. Who the fuck knows? Maybe A.J. Brown is dog shit and Romeo Dobbs covers up the slack. But, picks up the slack. Excuse me. Brett says, I will get him every time he drops. It's too early in the summer. It's not even summer yet. It's June, but it's not officially summer yet. I think it's worth it as well. Laporta went 111 in this lobby. I would have much rather had Laporta. But if you're telling me Fannin is fully healthy and the injury risk is not a factor, he plays all 17 games, then that should be a good pick. I was hopeful for Kincaid, honestly, more than Shakir. So the team at 12 says not today. He grabs Kincaid at 133. But if it isn't stacked up, I can see an argument. I can see a scenario where Kincaid is just not worth this pick. Kincaid could definitely go down with injury again. He opted against the offseason surgery for the second year in a row. Not ideal. He's been plagued by consistent injuries. So he has a lot of upside. He can definitely put up 100 yards if you really need it at the right time, but he can also disappear as well. All right, Shakir does circle back. So the question is, do I pull up a running back out of necessity, or do I just take the stack? And he was top of ADP in the last round. I'm going to take the stack. Shakir does have value, but in all honesty, my receiving core is getting a little bit too complete to feel like I need many more. I think I only need one more receiver, and I might as well wait until like Keon Coleman or some shit in the final round. But NapGod, what kind of draft are we doing next? Good question. I think I'm going to leave that up to the poll. My preference would be a field general, but if y'all want a puppy, we can also do a puppy. I'm more inclined to do a super flex because that contest is very close to filling. So let me ask y'all in the poll. We have 19 likes, 42 watchers. Not even going to request a like goal to hit it. I'm letting you know right now. We're absolutely drafting a second. But if you want to hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Definitely helps us with the algorithm and everything. Would be a nice little thing to do. If you're watching on mobile, here, let me pull up the board for y'all. Sorry about that. Here's the board. If you're watching on mobile, very easy to do. The live chat, you hit the X button when it's vertical. If it's full screen, it's not going to work the same. But when it's vertical, you got the video and then the live chat. You hit X on the live chat, you hit the like button, and then you hit live chat again. 3 clicks, you're right back where you started. Okay, so Superflex for $3. Or a puppy for $5. Let me know. But Brett says it's 4:20 for me to take a rip. How is it 4:20 when it's only 2:14 on the clock? I understand if you're in the central time zone, that'll check out, but only 6 minutes from now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pack a bowl because mine is empty. And we will smoke exactly at 4:20 for you, Brett. I promise. Cash says, puppy, we pour over here, and damn, I suck at Superflex. I get it. Yeah, not going to force the higher buy-ins today, but John Tyra, you got me addicted to Superflex right now before it's closing. I'm not going to be maxing the contest, but at least closer to it closing. Definitely, I'm trying to get in a little bit. I've drafted about 24 or 25 of them. Okay. All right, so this team I think might be dead. There's a world where this team could be dead. So I'm going to take some picks I don't normally make, and we're going to go with Jonah Coleman today. I never draft Jonah Coleman. I'd prefer him at a discount, but today we just need running back points. Let's scoop it up. I feel pretty safe assuming that J.K. Dobbins will get hurt inevitably. R.J. Harvey is not a complete running back. Not expecting him to have a workhorse role. Could be the guy on the goal line, but Jonah Coleman can also mix in. And once Dobbins goes down, who knows? Maybe Jonah Coleman can be the guy. But never am I clicking him. I legitimately feel like this team is just like kind of a for the vibes, for the exposure type of thing. I think there's some problems on this team that I might not come back from. But the problem is not quarterback. Quarterback points are there. Allen and Kyler, that can get it done. Both of them stacked. Receiver's not the problem. CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, DJ Moore is stacked. Jordan Addison is stacked. And then we have Romeo Doubs and Khalil Shakir. So that's not really the problem. Tight end, we got a good value on Fannin. So maybe that's not the problem either. It's just running back. Running back feels gross as fuck. At least I have Rico Dowdle, though. At least Rico could be the move. But we made Peppertoni happy. We took Achane today at pick 17. That's kind of the reason why I'm not excited about this team. And then the Ramondre click just looks fucking terrible. That one I think was gross. I think if I took Tony Pollard, I would like this team a bit more. But ultimately, the main argument on this team is that Travion Henderson is not the right click. And I just don't believe that. So that's why I'm not feeling great about this team. But fuck. I kind of want to take Trey Tucker, but I think TJ Hawkinson is probably a better fit. Again, I'm not fully in belief that TJ Hawkinson does break out, but this team is telling a narrative. This team has a story, and Kyler and the Vikings are part of that story. So TJ Hawkinson, for the stack, this is the round to take him. So yeah, the more I think about this team, I don't think it's totally dead. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's really going to come down to if Ramondre was worth it. Time to get ripped. Almost. We got 3 minutes left. Whack-a-mole, dude. What's the whack-a-mole reference? I haven't played whack-a-mole in a fucking minute. When was the last time you were at an arcade that actually had whack-a-mole? It's been almost forever for me. Now you're making me want to go to an arcade. Yo, what's up, Olaf? How we doing? We're gonna rip the pipe in 2 minutes. Let me get this thing packed for y'all. I said we were gonna rip it exactly at 4:20 or 2:20 Pacific. So gotta stick to my word. But Brett says, I had to light a doobie on the toaster. I think my lighter's washing machine. On the toaster? What are you, MacGyver? How do you use the toaster to light that? I've never seen anyone use the toaster. You don't use the stove? You're in Oregon, so also... Yeah, you were lying to me from the beginning. You just want me to smoke. You just don't want to smoke alone. Oh, shit. My grinder's almost empty. There's enough in there, though. I'm on the clock, however. What is this pick going to be? I don't want Mendoza on this team. I just don't think it's ideal. I'm going to take Tank Bigsby. Yeah, let's feel better about the team with the Tank Bigsby selection. Never going to be upset with that. And this is honestly like a 6 running back build. I think that's where it's going. So I think we might rock the 2-6-7-3. Right now we have a 2-5-6-2 going. So I got one more running back, one more receiver, and then one more tight end, I think, on this team. So Mendoza's falling, but I think I'm going to leave him alone. I just don't think with Allen it's really necessary. I have a good QB2 and Kyler that's double stacked. And Mendoza is not going to play all 17 games. I have no Raiders to pair with him. He goes there to win 2022. Who's at the 111. But it is 220. I'm a man of my word. Let's take this rip, shall we? Shall we? Let's do it. Yo, I lost my lighter. You jinxed me, bro. I lost my lighter. I couldn't find it, but here we go. There it is. It was under my notepad. My notepad was hiding it. Okay. Like I said, 3 clicks left. One more running back. One more wideout. One more tight end. But no one really stacks up remaining other than like Keon Coleman. So not inclined to do that. I think I'm just going to get in at running back with someone. I was on a call with someone today who will be on the live stream tomorrow. Fan of the channel, never been on YouTube before. So getting a little rep in with him. And he told me to bet on Katron. So we're going to go Katron today. Let's do it for Jonathan. Jonathan will be on the live stream tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour. 7 p.m. with Jonathan. Olaf says, I like Stevenson, had some good rushing numbers. They trust him. They will trust him until they don't have to anymore. I think once they can just say they fully trust Travion, that's definitely the direction they want to pivot to. The contract he has, though, definitely indicates he's probably not going anywhere. So he's all right, but I took him well above ADP just because I wasn't going to take a quarterback. Olaf never tried the toaster. The stove makes a lot more sense. It obviously works, though. Joint is lit. I'm proud of you. To light it with a toaster, not many folks can say that, but spark it up, chat. Mine's getting washed. It's a doobie night instead of bowls. Respect. It sucks when the lighter runs out. It's quite a buzzkill. Never fun to have to go and purchase a lighter when all you want to do is just smoke the joint you just rolled. But only 2 rounds left, not many clicks remaining. And let's just trust that Allen's gonna get it done for us. This team could be much worse. I think it could be much worse. But for an Allen team, I don't think it's completely shot. It just definitely is at a disadvantage. For sure. But coming back on the clock, we need one more whiteout. Not many names I trust remaining. So maybe we just go with tight end first. The hype on Dulcich has been definitely picking up steam, and we do get the Week 17 bring back. At the moment, he might be the #1 receiver in Miami. So him and Devon Achane might have a massive target share. Fuck it. We go Greg Dulcich today at pick 200. Why not? He fell 11 spots. He's been rising. And maybe the Malik Willis drafter was just on this side. Yeah, the Malik Willis drafter is right next to us. I'm sure he's pissed. If that's what he wanted. He had Kittle and Kelsey already. So if that's what he wanted, he had to get in sooner. He took Nick Singleton instead. But Singleton, Katron, they played with each other. They were teammates at Penn State. Singleton looked good, then couldn't stay healthy. Katron can stay healthy, but might not have that top-end speed to pop some house calls. Not as flashy, but for the role they need in Washington, might be the goal line back we're looking for. So I don't believe in JCM. I think Rachaad White is more exclusively a third down back, good pass catcher, but only got $2 million in free agency. Maybe it was the best friend discount, but not convinced that Commander's backfield is set in stone right now, and definitely Katron could be the piece you need. So we'll take him here. I needed running back, and there's some excitement level there. There's some upside for sure. Not when your stove doesn't have burners. It's a modern one that heats up, but not enough to light a doobie. I tried. Oh, okay. You got one of those convection oven, or no, it's I'm not sure what they're called, but yeah, it's like a hot plate basically, an induction stove. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure. Um, I need one more whiteout. I think Pat Bryant could be okay. Tyreek Hill, I saw something that he could be with the Eagles. And you know what? If this team really is dead, then why not tack on a bet like that? But you know what? I never take Keon Coleman. Today's the day. This is my first click, my first ever share of Keon Coleman. So I'm locking up all the Bills pass catchers. Maybe they sign Stephon Diggs and they all get nuked. But fuck it. We got DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman on this team. We got the 3 Bills stacks. And you don't really need to stack Josh Allen, but maybe it'll work out. They're all kind of inexpensive. They're all kind of affordable at the very least. But here's the full roster. We have Allen and Kyler. We got Devon Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, Jonah Coleman, Tank Bigsby, and Katron Allen. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1. Chris Olave, wide receiver 2. DJ Moore with the stack. Addison also stacked up. And then Romeo Doubs, Khalil Shakir, good floor plays with some touchdown upside, mainly for Dobbs at least. But good floor and correlation with Shakir. And then Keon Coleman, possibly just a true bust. But who knows, maybe he steps up. The tight end room with Fannin, a little bit more exciting, but still hard to feel like elite about. And then TJ Hawkinson, Greg Dulcich, solid depth overall. This team is okay, but like it's really just Achane, Ramondre, and Jonah Coleman that make me think this is not going to work out. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but this was not my favorite team. For a Josh Allen team, though, it could be worse. John Tara was at pick 1. Let's take a look at John Tara. He is a blunt rotation member in this lobby with us. He has Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, and Jared Goff. Very, very good quarterback room. Gibbs, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Jordan Mason, the 4th. I like that quite a bit. And then Kalen Black coming in as number 5. The bet against CMC could definitely be the guy with the last pick of the draft. You took Devontae Smith stacked up, Jamison Williams stacked up, Jalen Waddle and Ricky Pearsall stacked up, right? You have Purdy? Yeah, you do have Purdy. McMillan, not a bad option as wide receiver 5. Might be a little thin, but not bad at all. Stribling with the stack needs to hit, but could definitely pop off. And then Dontavian Wicks also stacked up. Tight end room has Chig Okonkwo, super good value at his price. And then Dalton Schultz with the floor. Eli Stowers is also stacked. So a well-correlated team. Perhaps the receiver room could be a little bit better, honestly. Perhaps that is something I might like to see. But at the very least, it is complete. It is a fully complete team. No way to say it otherwise. Quarterback is great. Running back is totally fine. Receiver works. And then tight end, very balanced and affordable. So good team, John Tara. Love it. Out of the 101. We also had Taken Dollars in here. Was there any other member, though? M. Stockton. Are you a member, Stockton? I feel like there's a chance you might be. But there's not that many of y'all in here with us, so I'll take a look at all of you. And then there's Win 22. Okay, so Taking Dollars first. Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, Baker Mayfield. That's getting it done. Monty, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, Tyrone Tracy, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emmanuel Wilson. So you might be a Packer fan if you're willing to bet on these two late, but not my favorite running back room. Solid floor with Dave Montgomery, though. But, yo, Brett, you're coming in with a gifted membership. Looks like Joey R1202 just won it. Congrats, Joey. And thank you very much, Brett, for the gifted memby. Appreciate you very much. So running back here is a little bit uninspiring, not going to lie. But I could see a path. I have to be wrong on Rico, though. And then Kyron Williams needs to have a significantly decreased role. But Montgomery just needs to stay healthy, and he'll be solid enough to get it done. But only 6 receivers here. Interesting. We have Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Egbuka, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Williams, and Deebo Samuel. I've seen stronger 6 wide receiver rooms. So if Deebo is just truly that value, you might get away with it. But I think with Antonio and Deebo, I think I might like a 7th. But maybe these are the 4 that you really need. Maybe you get away with it. But the bet on Antonio is kind of bold. You have Dallas Goedert at 142. That's a nice affordable price there. Strange in the next round, then Kate Otten. So a balanced quarterback room, tight end room. Receiver is elite, but not the most deep. And then running back is a little mid, but could be the pieces. You never know. I wish that Marshawn Lloyd is actually the guy. So good luck. Not a bad team. Running back, a little shaky. We had Stockton in here, though. He has Burrow and Dak. That'll get it done. Dak's was the snipe on my pick. He did have George Pickens, though. So it's all fair in love and war. All fine in the end. But Swift is the RB1. That's fine. RJ Harvey and Kenneth Gainwell. Chris Rodriguez, so a little risky, but good enough to get it done. And could have like the most touchdowns on their respective teams. So with all 4 of them, touchdowns going to need to save you, but also having Woody Marks, Sean Tucker, both of the Tampa backups is probably a good bet. And then Justice Hill could be irrelevant, but also could have a solid role week to week. Amon-Ra, George Pickens, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Ryan Flournoy, Ridley, and Mooney. Elite up top, waited a long time. That's the way to go for sure. Like that you have 7. Not 6, but Kyle Pitts and Juwan Johnson, very balanced, very nice value on Pitts as well, 115. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And while running back maybe doesn't have the elite option, it is balanced enough and good enough depth. I think you're going to check out. So a good, fair team. The advance rate, not worried about it. Live, just like any other team. So good luck, Stockton. Good stacks with Burrow and Dak. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at Win in here at the 111, Win 2022, with Jordan Love, Mendoza at 179. Nice little 10-pick fall. And Brissett. You have Genty stacked up. You also have Bowers? No. But you do have Genty. That's a pretty solid stack in the first place. But you go hyper fragile. You start off with 4 straight running backs. Hampton, I said I love it in the moment. We took Kyron and Javonte. As long as they stay healthy, that's a very, very locked and loaded running back room. No complaints there to stop at 4. So this will be fun. What's the rest of it look like? We got Rome Odunze, Jordan Tyson, Sutton, Reed, Myers. That's pretty complete. Diggs, love that. And then Denzel Boston, Isaac Tesla, some talent to round it out. So I think you piece it together. And then Ferguson, Hunter Henry, and Gesicki. You landed the plane, but the Gesicki unstacked is kind of an odd selection. Not going to lie. I might have preferred Michael Mayer there, in all honesty, but Gesicki has an easier path to get on the field. So you just needed points. I think that's a totally fine pick. I sniped you on Dulcich. I'll be honest with you. I think you should have taken Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson went undrafted in this. I think I prefer Ferguson over Gesicki, because unless someone gets hurt, Gesicki just doesn't really deliver, and then it's unstacked, so maybe shoot for like the true ceiling. I think Ferguson has a higher ceiling than Gesicki, but it could be Gesicki's year. No issue with that. That's just my personal ranks do have Ferguson over Gesicki. That's the only thing, but I like the team. Definitely a fun one. Really cheap at quarterback, but you can definitely get away with it. The receiver room is really, really strong for a team that started with 4 running backs. So kudos to that. And then tight end has enough pieces to figure it out. Could be the team. But Jordan Love with Jaden Reed, if you make it to week 17, good luck with that. I think you're going to be desperate for Mendoza to pay off against Arizona. All right, that's going to be it for the team reviews. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Can't do knife hits of hash either on my stove. Knife hits with hash? Yo, you're crazy, bro. Pro tip, Q-tip, toaster, candle, dabber, little piece of resin can be used as a lighter if you need to smoke a bowl without a lighter. Interesting. Okay, legalize it. Definitely the guy that would know. Dude, the Bills open new stadium, JA-17 on a mission, Super Bowl or bust. That's an interesting point. Yeah, Bills I think are going to be the 2 seed, if not the 1 seed this year. So the bet is worth making. You know, I don't draft a ton of Allen, but fuck it. We have an Allen team today at 41. It feels better than at like pick 30, 29. So we'll hope for the best. Ramondre, better fucking hit. But it's a can't light a doobie kind of stovetop. 25% daddle, so maybe it's good you got him. I have a close number to this as well. I'm plus 20% on Rico Daddle as well. Just was rough going Daddle to Harvey as RB2. Right. Harvey is not the most exciting, but you're ready for the next one. Good to know. Cheaper than a beer after work. Beers can get expensive. Beers can be sneaky expensive if you drink a shit ton. If you want to get drunk, it can get expensive if you're in the club or at the bar. Drinking at home is not expensive, but depends on what you're drinking. M. Stockton, thanks for the reviews. You have a good radio streaming voice. Hope the following grows. Thank you, Stockton. I really appreciate it, and happy to do the review. But 2 butter knives, put hash between, suck it up in 2-liter bottle. Yo, this is way too much for me. Way too much for me. All right, the poll results. Let's take a look. Wow, the poll is very close. We have 22 votes, and it's 12-10 in favor of the puppy. So if you guys want to vote in this poll in favor of Superflex, I'll give y'all like maybe 1 more minute to sway the direction. But at the moment, it is actually rising in favor of the puppy. We're at 57% currently for the puppy. So it looks like that's what we're going to do. The $3 Superflex is cheaper, but most of y'all feel more comfortable in the puppy. It makes more sense. Plus, is there more money in the puppy? 100K to first. I don't think so. I think it's the same as in the Field General. Yeah, the Field General, there's fewer people in the contest. It's an easier advance rate, 1 out of 8, 1 out of 6. The final only has 646 people, but the grand prize is still 100K. It's still pretty loaded, but if you make the final, you don't get very much, only $100. If you do make the final in the puppy, you make $400. So at least there's that. Making the final in the puppy would be pretty lit. So let's do the puppy. No time to waste. I'm gonna give you all a countdown. There's enough time to get it up on the screen at this point. We are drafting the puppy, our final draft of the stream, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 2 spots left. There it goes. What pick did I get? Pick 5. One of my least favorite spots to be in. But we see Superfly Guy at the 101. Brew Crew, our boy Brew Crew at the 102. Sunny D at the 103. Clarence next to me at the 104. Big Sweezy at the 106. Green Bean in the house. What's up, Green Bean? Benny the Jet 96. Good to see you again. Hunter Goss at the 109. We got UCF Jaguar in here at the 110. And then Win 2022 in here again. And then Buddy Man. I think we've drafted with Buddy Man at least once before. So good luck to everyone. Pretty full house. There's only like 3 or maybe 4 names I don't recognize. But yeah, should be lit. In at the 10 with UCF. Yeah, you got pick 11 as well. Cheers, everyone. Good luck. Sustainable construction. You'll draft the shipper in the 5 spot. Believe it in yourself. I probably will. It's just probably not going to be with JSN. That's my take. Pick 5 is not JSN. Knife hash hits, put that on a pin under class and it's on. I don't think I'm ever going to be bold enough to do a knife hash hit. But speaking of hash, I guess it's not the same thing, but I'm going to elevate the bowl I currently have with some keef. I think that's the move. Like I said, I don't think pick 5 is going to be won with JSN. But if I take who I really want, y'all are going to call me crazy. So today, my exposure on JSN is so fucking low. It's at like 1%, bro. But John Tara, this is what I want to do, in all honesty. This is legitimately what I would, in my heart, want to do. I did it yesterday when I was watching the Fantasy Roundup. I was in his chat yesterday. Speaking of which, we got a collab with the Fantasy Roundup. Ryan from his very impressive channel. Ryan's got a shit ton of subscribers and makes in-season content, a lot of rankings videos, very sharp fantasy mind. We got a collab stream going on Wednesday on top of the 10-hour stream planned for tomorrow. So shout out Fantasy Roundup. I believe he was live earlier today. I'm not sure if he is still going live, but it is possible. Shout out Ryan from the Fantasy Roundup. But I know, right? You think JT is the play? I'm not even convinced at that. Legitimately, I'm not even convinced at that. My honest 105 in the rankings is actually Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think I trust Amon-Ra to be a top 5 receiver this year more than I trust any other receiver other than Chase and Puka. And then Taylor, I'm not convinced is actually the RB3. Christian McCaffrey makes the most sense, but can definitely get injured and just kill you. So I am actually, in my rankings, ranking Amon-Ra St. Brown at pick 5. But my exposure to JSN versus Amon-Ra is like night and day. I have Amon-Ra at like 15, 14% last I checked. Meanwhile, I have JSN at 2%. So I'll do that. I might be wrong about JSN. Maybe. But I'm not convinced he'll have as good of a season as last year. Not at all. There is really no room for error. But I've taken Genty before at the 105. If you were watching Friends of Best Ball when I was drafting with Meg Schaup over on the Fanspeak Network, yo, we get Derrick Henry. Nice little gift here. This is the reason why I hate pick 5 and pick 4. It is so difficult to get a running back to make it back to you. So Green Bean and Big Sweezy, do me a favor. They go AJ Brown, Drake London. I am not going to gift Derrick Henry to Clarence to get the bring back. No fucking chance. I'm letting Team 4 go Jamar Chase and Derrick Henry. Not a chance in the world. And structurally, I need a running back in round 2. They're much more valuable than the receivers, in my opinion. So give me Derrick Henry all day at pick 20 with JSN. So I was willing to go double receiver today or maybe start JSN Bowers, but I don't have to. I get the receiver and the running back. All is good. Best case scenario, honestly, for how this worked out. But AMC's the knife hash hit is old school way before all you young dabblers were around. I can't do the dabs myself, but anytime you need a blowtorch, it feels a little bit out of my wheelhouse. But Mike says, good luck, fellas. Which pick do you have, Mike? Are you Superfly guy? Which pick are you, Mike? Keefitize me, Captain. Yeah, we put the keef on it. So I'll make this pick and then we'll hit the pipe one more time. Oh, okay. Good to know, Hallie. I had a feeling there'd be some overlap, but sounds like perfect timing. Yeah. Amon-Ra is my pick 5. if I was just sticking to my rankings. But I can get Amon-Ra all over the board. I get Amon-Ra at pick 11 sometimes. I have a shit ton of Amon-Ra. So knowing that, I get weird at pick 5 sometimes. I don't believe in Breece Hall the way I believe in Travis Etienne. I'm gonna go with Travis. Breece could hit, but I think it's more like random spike weeks with Breece Hall. I think I'm going to get consistent production on top of random spike weeks with Travis. So I rank Travis higher than Breece Hall. Yeah, Amon-Ra's got both the ceiling and the floor. There's really like no issue with Amon-Ra. Top 5 receiver each of the last 3 years, I believe. I believe that is correct. I think you are very accurate. If it's not 3 years, it's 2. But I think 4 years ago was his rookie season. Yeah. If I wasn't so overexposed to Amon-Ra, I probably would have taken him there. But keeping the percentages in mind, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, nothing personal to Clarence. But he already got the gift of Jamar Chase at pick 4. I'm not giving him Derrick Henry on top of that. Fuck that. Mike is Buddy Man. Okay, I almost said Buddy Man, actually. Not gonna lie. That was my second option. But Slayton, the knife hits was a good way to figure out which kids were actually using pot as a gateway drug. Yeah. The dab users are usually in on much harder shit. Or just had a ton of herbs. The dankest of herbs. That's all you can ask for. All right, so Mike is going Cook, Saquon, Allen, and Scattaboo. So at pick 36, he's not passing on Allen. And he's not grabbing a wide receiver. If there was one thing I didn't love about my team on the last one, it was my running back depth. So to have that locked up, you're definitely in a good spot. And then I do usually like the ability to double tap wideout at the next turn. So good for you, Mike. I think your team's going to be pretty solid with Allen in full context. All right, I'm back on the clock here. I like Egbuka, but I don't like his Week 17 matchup. Kind of want to go Colston Loveland, honestly. Just a little bit. I'm going to do that. This is a team that I don't normally build because of JSN is usually just never on my team. So I'm just going to bet that JSN is just that fucking good. And we can actually just load up elsewhere. And we can make the right choices at receiver later in the draft. There's still a lot of depth at wideout coming down the stretch. So let's load up elsewhere. This little pocket of the draft, picks 3, 4, and 5 have the best tight ends in the room. Hartman says he's not a gangster. His real name is Clarence. Yeah, and anyone named Clarence probably not getting the full street cred unless they go by a pseudonym. But at least he spells it with 1 3. He doesn't use a 3 for both of the E's. But maybe that was taken. End of round 3 where you're getting your Allen exposure. I think that's wise. I think you have to fade him until it's like pick 35, 36. And at that point, he's a 4th round pick. In the 4th round, it makes more sense. Okay, I am back on the clock. I'm tempted to just go with like Baishal Tutin, honestly. I kind of want to go like really just lean in to this anchor wideout strategy. I'm going to do that. Let's go Baishal Tutin. The Chris Rodriguez foot injury definitely playing a factor right now. And Beischel Tootin is slowly moving up the board. If the news gets really bad on C-Rod, there's a chance the Tootin slappies bump him up to where Scadaboo went in this draft. There's a chance we're drafting Beischel Tootin at the 3-4 turn potentially. So at least at the moment, I don't see his price going down anytime soon. I will just take it while I can get it at a reasonably affordable price. But it better work out if it gets more expensive than this. You almost need to try to get 2% of the guys you don't really like just to hedge your bets a bit. That's Lamar for me right now. Yo, you're only 2% on Lamar. I think that could bite you in the ass. I know Lamar doesn't run it as much these days, but that could be a problem. Lamar is so affordable here. Like, Lamar is going to be available for Buddy Man if he wants him. That's fucking crazy. Buddy Man, you going to take him? If you do, you might as well take him in the 6th, just to have it on the screenshot. I'm really curious what Mike does here with these two picks, because whiteout makes some sense. He goes Carnell Tate, valid, and then does he pull the trigger? Does he actually go Lamar? I kind of want to see it, honestly. But using the full clock, really thinking about it. Yep, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, punish the rest of the room. The Zay Flowers drafter at pick 26 didn't take him, and nobody else wanted him. Maybe I fucked up. Maybe I should have fucking taken him. I have Derrick Henry, but I went Tootin today. Very interesting. But yo, Gunnar Ross, GM to you. Welcome in. Gunnar Ross won 2nd place in the Eliminator contest last year. If you're interested in his insight, shout out Huhames, really dope members only stream earlier this week. I was watching. Appreciate you popping in today, Gunnar. Thank you. Sustainable Construction says, should probably mix in Josh Allen as well. It's probably not wise to have 0% Josh Allen. I'm not going to be overweight Josh Allen, but it's probably not a player you want 0% of, because he can absolutely bury you. A pseudonym like Papa Doc. I'm on the clock here, though. Caleb would make sense. I already have Colston Loveland, so taking Tyler Warren here I think is a little bit much. And similar to the last draft we were in, if you're not taking quarterback here, it feels fucking gross. So the onesie positions in round 6 I think are the way to go. Once Tyson and Carnell Tate are off the board, looks like BTJ was a 5th round pick in this one. Once the rookies are off the board, I think you just have to pivot to Tyler Warren and the quarterbacks to really get the value in round 6. But we're taking Caleb 7 picks past Lamar Jackson. The Lamar price there was fucking lit. But Buddy Man, only 1 receiver so far. I think he'll get away with it. I think he'll be fine. Why would we not want Igbuka week 17 versus the Rams? What are the chances anyone else in the NFC West puts up enough of a fight? The Rams aren't drinking Gatorade and hitting on cheerleaders week 16 on. If you want to project them to take week 17 off, be my guest. But if I had to guess, week 17 will lock up the 1 seed with a win potentially. And it's not really that I'm worried about the Rams benching people. It's the Trent McDuffie matchup, bro. It's Trent motherfucking McDuffie. Okay, Parker Washington could make some sense as wide receiver 2. I'm going to do that. I've ignored receiver for a minute. And Parker Washington at 77 feels fine. But I think it's time for a rip from the pipe. I think we've waited long enough. Nice. I don't. Here's the thing, Sladen. I would expect the Rams to be benching starters week 18. Week 17, I don't think so. Week 17, I trust them to want the win. Because if they can lock up the 1 seed in the NFC, then they have home field throughout the entire playoffs. If they make the Super Bowl, it's also in their home stadium. So I don't see them checking out for 2 full weeks, let alone 3. If you want to buy into that narrative, be my guest, but I think it's only going to be relevant in week 18 when the contest is closed. Mike also likes Josh a little bit more in these contests with a huge final. That's also valid. And Josh Allen has one of the best matchups of them all in week 17. The Dolphins in division at Miami. Weather's not a problem. Allen's going to fucking crush. You know that. Brett is at 20% Lamar. He's not afraid. Lamar, I think, is a player I'd rather be overweight on than underweight. But in all honesty, I feel like I haven't been taking him very much on the channel as of late. I think closing out the big board in the pre-draft contest, I was scooping him up like crazy. Damn, Benny the Jet goes Trevor Lawrence. I was really hopeful that I could get T-Law to make it back. I noticed the Brian Thomas drafter did pass. He went Herbert and RJ Harvey, but T-Law goes at 89. I'm at pick 92, unfortunately. That would have been nice. The Rico Daddle selection here would be sweet. He goes to Sweezy, though. I'm going to take Mahomes because there's some nice back stacks on this side of the board with Patty Mahomes. Now, hopefully, I get Xavier Worthy to make it back. I think that's pretty obvious, the bet I'm making. I snipe Clarence again. He doesn't get Derrick Henry. He doesn't get Patrick Mahomes. Legitimately, I did not factor in Clarence's Rashee Rice pick for even a second. Literally, I had no even idea that Clarence was probably trying to get Patrick Mahomes. Not going to lie, I just think Mahomes is a good pick. Once T-Law's off the board, I think he's my favorite quarterback to take. But you hated every other option. I think the Lamar Jackson pick was correct there. Otherwise, for me, it would have been like Jordan Tyson. However, if Lamar Jackson had been taken where he should have gone, you would have had access most likely to either Bucky Irving or any of the receivers above him, and those receivers are definitely more interesting than Jordan Tyson. So I think for the sake of the value, I think you made the right choice, Mike. I would have done the same. But Lamar is Burrow if without Joe's wide receivers, Wilford Brimley at tight end and a better defense. Lamar can also run for 80 yards and a touchdown, though. Burrow's not doing that. What a fool. I have a ton of Lamar's A stacks. Not this one, though. Brew Crew is the one that passed on Lamar. But I had Derrick Henry. I also passed. Henry, though, doesn't catch passes. So there's a big run on running back there. It looks like Gainwell just officially goes at pick 100 now. Pretty fair decision. And then we will get Worthy to complete the stack. I'm going to need more receivers consistently throughout this draft. We get the elite tight end. Our quarterback room is good enough. I could totally stop with just these two if I wanted. But having Worthy with Mahomes, and then there's also another stacking partner eligible coming up soon. So teams coming together. I have Derrick Henry, Travis Achan, and Baishal Tootin on a JSN team. It's definitely not a team I've built before. I don't have many JSN teams at all. But Brett says, thanks for Warren. You're welcome. With Loveland, it just wasn't the move I wanted to make here. But heck yeah. Gunner says, I've never done that sort of thing before. Just a chat rat for my day job. I thought you really delivered, man. Had some great insights. It was a entertaining and informative segment. I quite enjoyed it. So if you're interested in more stuff like that, don't be underestimating your ability to do it. I had a good time listening to that podcast. I would have liked Parker Washington there, says Stockton, then take Trevor to go with a Jags bet. Yeah, I would have loved T-Law myself, but didn't get him. He just goes at 89. It is what it is. Sometimes I see T-Law fall to like pick 100, and that baffles me. I'm pretty shocked when that happens. So, kind of hopeful. You need the Brian Thomas Jr. drafter to pass, though. If they don't pass, there's no chance. Yeah, we did get Parker, though, at pick 77. Oh, so you wanted him at 68 when I took Caleb, I'm guessing. Yeah. Solid point on McDuffie. He's one of the few corners I actually worry about, and I don't see the Rams benching defensive starters in Week 17. Maybe Week 18, they bench a ton of starters, but Week 17, I doubt it. Brett already 2 doobies in. Not bad. Thank you. Glad you like that, Gunner. For you, I'll hit it again. I'm about to be on the clock though, and damn, receiver dried up. I was really hopeful I'd get at least one receiver I like. So even Pitts gets taken. Damn, the value is not there. Shit. Time is ticking. I guess I'll just go Rashad, but nah. Watch me pass on Kelsey here, and he doesn't make it back. So with Mahomes, just give me the stack. I can now be just done at tight end with Loveland and Kelsey. That's valuable. Quarterback, fuck it. I'll probably just say done with Caleb and Mahomes. Running back is really strong up top with Henry, Travis, and Byshul Tootin. And then wideout, we got the anchor. Parker better fucking pay off. And then Xavier Worthy stacked up. But I'm feeling a little behind at wide receiver. Not gonna lie, receiver feels a little bit shaky. Because I expected, honestly, to go like a Wan'Dale Robinson with our last pick. I'm not excited to take Concepcion at 117. But at least a Wan'Dale for like a floor play. Even Dobbs would have been nice. Matthew Golden I've taken a lot of, so... This receiver room might need 9 of them, honestly. I think it can tolerate it, given the 2 quarterback, 2 tight end approach. Probably going to stop there. But 8 for sure, 8 minimum. And it's going to come down to if I get a really nice price on Sam Darnold. If I take the 3rd quarterback. The only way I'm drafting a 3rd quarterback on this one is if Darnold is there at like 164 in like the 14th round. Damn it! Clarence snipes me on Diggs. Fuck you, Clarence. I know you're mad at me, but that's definitely what I wanted. So fuck it. We'll go Khalil Shakir. Gross. But actually, maybe not. I'll go Jordan Mason. At this point, I'm just going to commit to 9 wideouts, and I don't really want Shakir at 125. Coming off tightrope surgery, there's some rumors floating around that maybe Diggs to the Bills is on the table. If Diggs goes to the Bills, then Shakir is a dead fucking click. And we just got him in the 12th round in the last draft. So I consider a tier break at the position to be in this round. Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, the 2 Vikings running backs, Rachaad White, Chris Rodriguez, and some people like JCM. I do not. I'm also not that high on Tyrone Tracy. So before, there is really just no value at all at running back until the end of the draft. Let's go with Jordan Mason here at RB4. Just lean into the strength of running back and trust the depth. I really love Jordan Mason's matchup, Week 17. At the Jets, you know the Vikings are going to dominate in that game. The Jets might not do anything on offense against the Brian Flores defense. So I could see second half Jordan Mason pop off for 20 carries, if not 30 carries on the game. Maybe that's asking too much, but if Aaron Jones isn't healthy at that point in time, all he has to do is keep Damon Claiborne off the field. So maybe Claiborne will fucking pop. Maybe he is Jahmyr Gibbs 2.0, but I have been talking myself much more into Jordan Mason. Last year, we took Jordan Mason at pick like 90, 95. I thought it was fucking crazy. I was way more in on Aaron Jones. Now they go like back to back. Speaking of which, Aaron Jones is still not taken yet. But Aaron Jones at 32, definitely more likely to get injured and miss time. He finally comes off the board at 135 to UCF Jaguar. That's a really good price on Aaron Jones. But odds are he does get hurt. Mason never catches passes, though. Mason is not a true workhorse, and they drafted Damon Claiborne. He's definitely more explosive. So Mason could be the guy. I think the odds are Mason is probably the most valuable Vikings running back this year. But he could also be rather mid. He could also never crack more than like 12, 13 points. Even with the touchdown. I could see a lot of scenarios where Mason never scores more than like 75 rushing yards. He could kind of suck, honestly. But I'm going to attack it with volume at the position. So I can probably afford Travis Hunter. Fuck it. Let's go Travis Hunter. I have Parker Washington. What if BTJ or Jacoby Myers just get hurt? And that's the reason why Parker and Travis fucking crush. So I'll go Travis Hunter today, but it's an easier pick to make when you know you're going to draft 9 of them. I'll say that. 18% Zay, also taking him on 2-3 turn often helps with that. Yeah, especially if you take Zay early on the left side. Very easy to lock up Lamar. But these days, you can get Lamar anywhere. People are sleeping on Lamar. 25% Dowdle, so hedged on Warren. That's a very wise choice, in my opinion. Clarence sniped me because you sniped him. The trickle effect. Sorry. Sustainable says, yeah, I'm taking Zay, Surratt, and Andrews, but need more Lamar. He's just priced going before Burrow and May. Yeah, he's a very affordable, very good price, given his true upside. I think he'll be a little inconsistent because his rushing stats are just not there every week like they once were. But he's really developed as a passer, and I do think with a new coaching staff, a little bit of weight off his shoulders, I do think he's going to pay off pretty well, as long as he stays healthy. But Brett, you are Brew Crew. I'm aware. Batwheat says, I like Zay Flowers will be interesting if Debo goes to Baltimore. That would be a good landing spot for Debo, honestly. I've mentioned it on the channel before. I would love to see Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Debo Samuel lined up in the backfield. That's going to be a nightmare to cover. The run-pass option on that, diabolical. But back on the clock here, not the most exciting choices. Really not exciting at all. Fuck. I'll go Juwan Jennings, I guess. Another Viking. Yikes. But that's how it's being built. This receiver room is going to need 4 more names. I have 5 more clicks, so 1 more running back and 4 more receivers is my plan. The 2-5-9-2. Not commonly seen. But you also never see me draft JSN. Typically. Olaf says, remember last year, JA17, 50-point game, 3 rushes, 3 passes, tutties versus Tampa. The Bucs defense is definitely a bad one. Josh Allen can be the piece you need, for sure. Nobody else has a higher ceiling than Josh Allen any given week. But yeah, I agree with this, Brett. Definitely second that one. Slayton says Lamar has 16 rushing touchdowns in the last 5 years. T-Law has had 23. You know what was baffling? Yesterday I saw that Trevor Lawrence had 9 rushing touchdowns last season. That is so unlikely to repeat, though. But that is a very, very noteworthy stat, Slayton. His rushing touchdowns, rather underrated. Tyler says, hey, is double running back the way to go if JSN is gone? Chase, Puka, Lamb, Jefferson, and St. Brown. If those receivers are gone, then yeah, you got to take a running back. And in these lobbies, it feels much safer to start off with 2 running backs. However, if you make a mistake, if you don't draft the right one, you could be kind of screwed because now your receiver position is behind the 8 ball. So I've been trying to do more balanced approaches. I think that has been the direction I've been trying to go in, where round 1, if I'm drafting running back, round 2, I'm going receiver, and vice versa. I really like this right side of the board because you can get an Amon-Ra, O'Marion Hampton start. That feels truly elite. But I agree, Stockton. We are going 2-5-9-2 wholeheartedly. Slayton says, I still get my Lamar shares because, good God, I ain't clicking Jadarian Price instead. Very, very wise choice there. I'm starting to believe in Zach Charbonnet. Not going to lie. I actually might take Charbonnet here. Because I actually think he could be valuable. I think I have a good enough running back room to tolerate the risk. And fuck it. He was moving around in camp. What if he's actually healthy much sooner than we expect? He's way good enough to be the reason they moved off of Kenneth Walker. If they just believe in Zach Charbonnet, it wouldn't shock me at all. He has not had a ton of runway in the past. You know, there's been a lot of split snap shares with him. What if he's just back by like week 6? You know, like what if that's the case? What if he has a Christian Watson level recovery? I'm not telling you to be overweight on Charbonnet, but I'm actually deciding that this price down here might actually be worth it. Because like the only reason people can convince me not to take him is by arguing that he's just not going to come back in time. But like even if he's on your team in the fantasy playoffs, that's my whole argument for taking Tank Bigsby. Saquon is going to be on the field for like 12 weeks, and then he might go down, and you might have Tank Bigsby as the RB1 in the fantasy playoffs. We might have the RB1 in Seattle with Zach Charbonnet in the fantasy playoffs. Now, he would have to compete with Jadarian Price, but I'm not convinced that Price is going to be much better than Zach Charbonnet. So, fuck it. Let's get a little risky today. And now we're going to make our boy Candyman happy. We're going to go Zachariah Branch here. The breakout should be incoming. And grabbing a rookie. We at least want one rookie on this team. We're going to have 9 receivers. I think having another rookie is the move. So this is a fun team. This is interesting. Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes can definitely get away with that. Running back with Derrick Henry, Travis Achan, Byshel Tootin better fucking pay off, but at the moment feels better to bet on that with the C-Rod foot injury. Jordan Mason, very compelling RB4, should be very valuable once Aaron Jones gets hurt, barring a Damon Claiborne breakout. But then we have a luxury selection. I think because of the top 4, I'm willing to take the risk. If I had a different type of build here, like if RB4 was, I don't know, let's say running back 4 was Isaiah Pacheco. Fuck that shit. I'm not going Zach Charbonnet in that scenario, but RB4 being Jordan Mason, I feel way, way better about risking a Zach Charbonnet click. So fuck it. Let's go big or go home. Let's trust that I can get to the fantasy playoffs, and maybe Charbonnet's healthy before then, but by the time that happens, if he's the guy in Seattle you need, wouldn't shock me at all. Also, I like the matchup at Carolina, week 17. Their secondary is great, but their run defense has not been the most difficult the last few years. Putt Daddy in here saying 3 receivers in 11 rounds with Worthy. Your number 3 is hard to recover from. That is probably what would sink this team. The receiver room is absolutely a tricky one to bet on. But we have the anchor with JSN, and then we're just going to have a shit ton of volume with 9 overall. I'm going to need some lucky breaks. Not going to pretend like it's easy. But is the team completely dead? That I'm not convinced of either. If Diggs goes to the Bills, DJ Moore is still receiver 1 for the Bills, probably, but not overwhelmingly. Stephon Diggs is still pretty legit. That's not going to happen sustainable. No fucking chance. Brian Thomas Jr. is benched. Only chance is if he gets hurt. Sorry for Darnold. Honestly, Brett, I think it helps me out. I think the third quarterback on this team is not wise. I think I just need 9 receivers. So, if anything, that helped me out. And I would have passed on him at 149, honestly. I need a really, really good discount on Darnold, I think, to justify him on this team. Mad Shaheed was taken. I'm sure you sniping Darnold pissed that team off. I'm sure they were contemplating it themselves to go Shaheed and Darnold. But I am locked into wideout the rest of the way here. And there's not that many that are the most exciting. But I think I'll go Darnell Mooney. In the true best case scenario, I think he has the best path to be a wide receiver 2 among the names here. Among the names listed, I think as long as he can win the job, he will be the most active receiver of this group this season. Judy, I think, has to get traded to be valuable. Have no interest in the number 3 Cleveland receiver when Fannin is also a monster. Gonna ignore Cleveland there. But the Giants have a weird offense right now. A lot of interesting bets to be made on New York. Who to fade, who to believe in, who to bet on. Mooney needs to be healthy. He might just be washed. Might never get healthy, but it's possible. He's going to be good this year. The receivers remaining, though, are not the most compelling. I think I'm just going to pull up Christian Kirk, though. Because, like, if he's on the field, he's actually really involved. I'll go Christian Kirk. And then I might get really weird with the last one. I might scroll down, way the fuck down. But Olaf says, fuck off, Diggs. We don't want his whiny ass in our locker room. Apparently, some of the Bills have been liking his Instagram posts. Some of them are extending an olive branch via Instagram likes. Whatever the fuck that means. M. Stockton, with Harbaugh gone, I envision Lamar's pass rate goes up. Really? You think he'll be running less? I'm not sure, but probably every year Lamar's going to be throwing more, running less. Sustainable Construction says T-Law and Liam Cohen are a nice combo. Definitely a coaching staff I want to bet on. T-Law, I think, is a sneaky MVP candidate. Wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if he won MVP. Putt Daddy Sharps was a perfect pick for the Frenchie 6. Yeah, absolutely. That contest was built for Zach Charbonnet. Drago Dog says if Neighbors misses time, Mooney will be receiver 1. That's the hope. And then even if Neighbors is healthy, Mooney should be the number 2 wideout, right? At least from an experience standpoint, he should be the leader in the clubhouse right now. I'm not projecting Odell Beckham to be the wide receiver 2. And perhaps they still believe in Darius Slayton, but I'd rather bet on Mooney. Perhaps Malachi Fields, though, really does deliver his rookie year. But, yeah, Shaheed did go first. I did see that. Stockton, A.D. Mitchell opposite Jennings and Mason. Really? You like A.D. Mitchell? I'm not a believer in A.D. Mitchell, man. I don't really see it. The path for him in New York is so hard to trust. I got a hard time believing in it. But what's up, Drew? How we doing? What up, what up? How little is Tez Johnson being drafted in the puppy? He's vehemently undrafted. I don't think you can draft Tez Johnson after they added Ted Hurst. Give me Jalen McMillan. Give me Ted Hurst. Godwin until he gets hurt, not coming off the field. And Igbuka is the man. So I would say Tez Johnson at like a 0.02% draft rate. Yeah, Diggs was very impressive last year, coming off the injury as well. Honestly, he played pretty well in Houston also. Kind of underrated performance in Houston. Not bad. But Hunter Goss at pick 9. Honestly, I kind of wanted Pat Bryant. I know I mentioned I was going to get weird and maybe scroll down, but I was hopeful that I wouldn't have to and I could just go Pat Bryant. But maybe I should have taken Bryant over Christian Kirk. That would have made some sense. I might take Tyreek Hill, honestly. A lot of injury risk on this team. We're just kind of making a potential bet that they're all just healthier than we think. But I could also sprinkle in Xavier Thomas if I wanted. Could also go Brennan Thompson. I'll go Tyreek Hill. Fuck it. The receiver room is a hard one to trust. But these late round swings could absolutely pop. Just be the players I need. And fuck it. Today we're going Tyreek Hill. The only time I ever draft Tyreek Hill is in the last round with one of the final clicks. Obviously, he might be missing a lot of time. Obviously, he might be a 0. But the receiver room has a lot of risk on it already. I need a lot of things to break right. But we're going to have JSN in the lineup every single week. I only need 2 more at that point. We'll flip-flop between Parker and Travis, hopefully. And then the third one, we'll be sprinkling in Worthy, Jawan Jennings, Branch, Mooney, Christian Kirk, and Tyreek Hill. I think Mooney can cover us a little bit in the beginning. And then over time, we'll get some major spike weeks randomly out of these other names. And hopefully, someone really delivers down the stretch. Maybe Tyreek Hill comes in week 7, week 8, back on a team, and back to his old self. Maybe, just maybe, that's the case. But I might also get some flex play out of tight end. We got Colston Loveland and Travis Kelce. Both tight ends are stacked. That's pretty strong. Quarterback with Caleb and Mahomes. Caleb could be overpriced. I have Herbert ranked above him at least, so I actually think he is a little overpriced based on that metric. But really, I just think Herbert is underpriced. Caleb goes at a fair discount. Not too bad. But running back, I think, is just what's going to need to hit in my flex consistently. If Baishal Tootin does not pay off, I think this team might be fucked. If I don't get consistent running back flex points, this team might be fucked. But every now and then, it's worth risking it. It's worth taking a gamble. And given I'm so low exposed to JSN, to take him for the first time in a while, the argument is kind of, in my mind at least, well, what if I'm wrong and JSN is actually that good? Maybe JSN is just the wide receiver 1 at the end of the day. So with 8 other bodies, we're just trying to thread the needle, get the right names at the right time. But I like the other positions on this team very much. The quarterback tight end stack feels really good. The running back room, a lot of depth, and then, good luck with whiteout in this one. But that is what it is. Brett says, you taking my boy Kirk in 17, so I don't get him at the end. Well, Brett, you would have needed me to pass twice. I was not passing again at 212. But, yeah, the Purdy drafter is Clarence, and he might have sniped you. He did take Tonjes, after all. Yeah, I find it a little hard to believe that it's going to be Malachi Fields. But, yeah, Mike, this was a fun draft. Brett says if Franklin would have got taken, I was going to go Tez, Naked Baker. It is interesting. You like Troy Franklin, though, over Tez. I think that's a much better choice instead of Tez Johnson. All right, there was a bunch of y'all in here. We got Brett. Brew Crew is getting a team review. And then also interested in Buddy Man's team. He went with the Allen Lamar combo. So I want to see how Buddy Man turned out. Also, there's a few y'all in here for the first time. Let me know if you want a team review. But since I'm going live for 10 hours tomorrow, and we're already live for an hour and 40 today, I don't think I want to do too many team reviews. So I'll take a look at y'all's teams, and then we'll close it out with my recap. If you would like a review otherwise and you are not a member, you got to request it. And if I'm forgetting that you're a member, just leave any comment so I see the green username, and I will be reminded to check y'all out. So let's take a look at Brew Crew 808, Brett Nichols with Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud, and Sam Darnold. You did go Darnold unstacked, but you have Torrey Horton. At least there's that. UCF and Team 11. Gotcha. All right, so Baker, Stroud, and Darnold. Looks like other than Stroud, they're pretty much both naked. Maybe not ideal, but you can also get away with that. You got kind of gifted Baker, though, at 122. You could have gotten fucking burned, honestly, by passing on quarterback that far. So that's the risk you take. The rest of it should be pretty solid. You have Gibbs, Warren, Corum, Rashad, and Tyler Algier. Not as good as I thought it would be, honestly. But you have Nico, Flowers, Evans, Jamo. You waited for Tesla. And then A.D. Mitchell, Torrey Horton, Troy Franklin. So really strong top four, balanced depth, but kind of calling your shot. Kind of a risky depth play. And then you have Warren and Laporta here. I see. My question to you is, why not just take Jared Goff instead of Blake Corum? Because you have a major, major commitment to Detroit. You have Gibbs, Jamo, and Laporta. It's very unlikely that the Amon-Ra drafter is going to pass at 105, let alone 112. And so I've seen it happen. You get lucky, but I think the risk-reward ratio, like your quarterback room is not that special. I think having Goff instead of Darnold, or Darnold is unstacked basically. I think Goff instead of Corum is what I would have done personally myself. Otherwise, though, it's solid depth everywhere. Can definitely see the path for success. Tight end, the bully tight end strategy, though, sometimes does bite you in the ass. I think with all those Lions, I want Jared Goff. We have Buddy Man, also want to take a peek. He has Allen at 36, Lamar Jackson at 61. So in reality, it's only a 7-pick fall total. 8 picks in total value. It feels like it would be a lot more than that. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it'd be much more. But obviously, you have to stop at 2. You got James Cook, Saquon, and Cam Scatterbo early. You also go Woody Marks and Jalen Wright. Interesting Wright over Ollie Gordon. Last year, Ollie Gordon was much more valuable than Jalen Wright. So an interesting selection there, but final round, a fine decision to take a handcuff like that. Receiver, though, you were a little slow to address it, but you got Cardinal Tate, Chris Godwin, Michael Wilson, the bet on Wilson, 8 spots above ADP. And then Ricky Pearsall fell to you at 108. You also have Khalil Shakir, Jalen Coker, Surratt, and Malik Washington, Andrews, Sadiq, and AJ Barner. So tight end is pretty legit. Receivers, not bad. Receivers, not bad at all. Obviously, these last 2 running backs are not my cup of tea. I would not be taking them myself, but at least you got a discount on Woody Marks. Jalen Wright, though, I'm not a believer in. But Cook, Saquon, and Scatterbo can definitely get the job done. Obviously, you have the best quarterback duo in this entire lobby. So the quarterback advantage, good luck, bro. I hope that works. But honestly, the receiver room is good enough. I think it can pay off. You got the Surratt and Andrews stack, so very nice. You did pull up Andrews at 109, though. Holy shit. You reached on Andrews. I don't think he would have made it to you at 132, so to lock it up is fair. But damn, that's a high price to pay on Mark Andrews. I think I might have gone receiver there myself. But that's just me. You're the one with goat horns. I don't have goat horns. Just giving you my honest take. Good luck, bro. I would have 100% also scooped up Lamar Jackson if it was me. Okay, so 2 are down. We got 2 left. We got UCF requested a team review as well. And then Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert on this team. Christian McCaffrey, Ken Walker, RJ Harvey, C-Rod, and Aaron Jones. Pretty strong at running back. No complaints there. Ladd is stacked up, so is T. Higgins. BTJ, phenomenal wide receiver 3. Matthew Golden, Trey Harris, Ted Hurst, Jerry Jeudy. Not in love with that, but at 202, I suppose. And then Tyquan Thornton for the bring back with the Chargers. Not bad. Really, really strong receiver room, honestly. Everything but Jerry Jeudy is a click I'm willing to make. And especially these 6, I take quite often. So really strong receiver room. Fannin at 106, we mentioned that's probably worth taking. Juwan Johnson, really good depth piece. And then TJ Hawkinson, unstacked, but solid depth piece. Not a bad pick. Just kind of out of left field. It's 15 spots past ADP. So yeah, that's the reason why. An odd, kind of random Hawkinson pick, but it's okay. I think it makes sense. It's fine. Big discount. Quarterback's great. Receiver's really strong. Running back is great. And then the tight end. Yeah, this is a very good team, UCF. Really, really fire. And then we had one more. Pick 11. Sorry, Win. Almost skipped over you. But you got a team review on the last one, so fair that you go last. Kyler, Cam Ward, and Bryce Young. Not in love with Bryce, but as QB3, it's totally fine. I believe in Cam Ward and Kyler, so that's solid. Hampton, Kyron, Price, and Keaton Mitchell. Only 4 with the Chargers backfield handcuff. I mean, maybe they can both coexist, but I kind of see that as like a hedge. And if you're not that confident in Hampton, then maybe you don't deserve to win. So I think this running back room should have 5. And I don't think Keaton Mitchell should be taken here at 131. I'd rather wait, not draft Keaton Mitchell, and grab 2 that are super late than get Keaton. Because the best case scenario, he hits when Hampton gets hurt. And if that happens, this team might be dead because you only have 4. So a little too fragile, in my opinion. I think it could be just the pieces you need. But honestly, I took Zach Charbonnet today. I don't know if Price is good enough to be your anchor. And then Kyron is now in a time split with Blake Corum. He can score enough touchdowns to hit, but I just don't think these are the names I want to only take a 4th and have the 4th be Keaton Mitchell. Paired up with Hampton, a handcuff there. That's not the way I want to go about it. So good luck. Jefferson, though, Neighbors, Roma Dunze. No problem with that. Little discount on Neighbors, but he's obviously risky right now. It's worth the risk, though. I think at this point, I'm probably going to take more Neighbors. It feels worth the risk. Sutton, Addison, Josh Downs, and then Denzel Boston, Calvin Ridley. No complaints. Ridley needs a trade, but it's a very fair room. Who knows? Maybe Neighbors doesn't play and Ridley is in the Giants offense. Who knows? But if that's the case, then Neighbors is a 0. That would suck. Gunnar, Helm, Stowers, and Otten. I don't like this tight end room. Yeah, this is a weird team. At least there's the Kyler stack, but the other 2 are kind of arbitrary. And then tight end is pretty gross. Gunnar Helm is at least stacked up, but I think there's a little bit too much invested at receiver without like some of the balance. It's weird. I just kind of disagree with some of the player takes. The Keaton Mitchell at 131. Damn, that shit looks so expensive. So, yeah, that's my take. Some of these mid-round clicks at wideout might have been helpful to be a running back. At least one running back. I think I'd like this team a little bit more. But good luck. I believe that's going to be it. Good luck, Win. I respect the Neighbors conviction. But personally, I'm going T. Higgins over Malik Neighbors if it's me. That's how my rankings have it. All right, I think I'm done for today. I think that's going to be it. We'll take one more hit and say goodbye. Let me finalize the chat. We ignored it for a bit, but Goff in Chicago week 17. That could be bad. The more I think about it, Goff actually sucks in bad weather. What if it's like 40 mile per hour winds in Chicago week 17? What if we get fucked by the weather? Probably not, though. That's probably a really high scoring game. Probably not. Something to worry about. Brett believes in Horton as a fade on JSN having the season last year. I definitely believe in Horton myself, but he is kind of injury prone. Even if you fade JSN, I'm not convinced that it means that Horton is a true smash, but it definitely helps if that's the case. Brett says Corum had a little fall too, and also his week 17 with Seattle players. I have a funny feeling about Corum. He is expensive. However, yeah, the price on Corum, at least he's not as expensive as Ramondre, but just like Kyle Monungai, there's not that much room for error. But Mike says, thanks, Blunt. You probably have a point with the wide receiver over dusty old Mark. It's not that I don't like the Mark pick. Like with Lamar, having Mark Andrews makes a lot of sense, but you did reach on him considerably. Like you reached on him by like 15 spots, like more than a full round. So you only had to wait 22 picks for your next one. There was a chance, albeit kind of slim, I haven't seen it happen too often, but there was a chance that in this lobby, Andrews did fall back at 132. But there's never any guarantee on that. To just get your stack before it gets sniped is a wise move as well. I don't hate the pick, but it is expensive compared to ADP. Brett says the critiques really helped me. I love his honesty. I'm glad you appreciate it, man. That's really all I can offer. My honest opinion. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it more than it needs to be. But in all honesty, most of our teams are not gonna make any money. You know, only one of 6, 2 out of 12, even get their money back. You know, even advance. So there's little nuances that can help, but it's a tough game. Let's not kid ourselves. It can be a tough game. But Mike is also a huge Horton guy. He looked unreal before that injury. Horton was my guy last season. I was drafting Horton like crazy well before he moved into the 15th round. He was my undrafted stance last year. Scott says, thanks again. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for popping in as always. Brett says, me too. I think he will exceed ADP. I sure hope so, but I think I want some positive camp reports before I go too crazy. But you know what? I'm interested in looking at my Torrey Horton exposure real quick. But Drago, I'm looking forward to it as well. And this will be the last thing. What is my Torrey Horton exposure since the draft? Because it was way higher before the draft. I have drafted Torrey Horton just under 7% of the time. That checks out. That makes some sense. That feels appropriate. Here's the discrepancy, though. This is the 2026 season. This is all the drafts since the NFL Combine, since the draft. If we go to the pre-draft lobbies, it's much different. My wide receiver exposures, holy shit, I had 19% Torrey Horton. So I've been trying to cool it a little bit ever since then. I was taking him a little bit too much. So he's my boy as well. Oh, my bad. I didn't even fucking show you. Holy shit. Here's the Torrey Horton pre-draft exposure. My bad. 19% right here. But that's pre-draft. Like I said, since the draft, it's at 6.8. Not the same commitment this time around. But all right, that's it for me. I'll see y'all tomorrow with the 10-hour live stream. If y'all haven't done so, if you want to sign up for Underdog, you can get promo code BLUNT on sign up, gets you $50 of bonus funds. The link is in the description. But tomorrow we're going to be live for 10 straight hours celebrating 10K subscribers. And I cannot wait. It's going to be very fun. One final reminder on the schedule. At noon Pacific, I'll be solo for the first hour. Just me, just to lock in, just to get it going. Hour 2 at 1 p.m. features Angus McKay, my best friend. Hour 3 at 2 p.m. has Goofy Chicken Fantasy. coming back on the channel. At 3 p.m., we got Hartman returning to the channel. At 4 p.m., we got Steve Shout making his debut on the channel. At 5 p.m., his sister Meg returning to the channel as well. And then at 6 p.m., we got Jamie Pirog returning to the channel. At 7, we have my 25th subscriber, member of the Subscriber League, Jonathan Day, is joining us at 7 p.m. Pacific. And then at 8 p.m., we got Jiri Football to help me close it out with Who Hames the next hour at 9 p.m. If Jiri wants to stick around, he's not getting kicked off, and we might have both Jiri and Who Hames in the last hour. But that is the schedule. Jiri and Who Hames to close it out at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. So I'm excited. Let me know in the comment section of this video. Leave a comment. What is the over-under on which hour I will fall off a cliff? At what point in the live stream am I going to get loopy? My guess is that it happens somewhere with Jamie or Jonathan. I think 6 or 7 p.m. it might get a little crazy if I smoke too much weed. But looking forward to it. Hope to see y'all tomorrow. Peace out. Later. Bye-bye.